So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Sean Terry here, back with the man, the one, the only, Bryan Harris. What is up, money?
What's up, Sean Terry, man?
On the Flip to Freedom podcast, man. You just cranking.
I love it, man. I mean, it's all because of, you're helping podcasts, you're helping ebooks. I mean, just you name it. You give out so much information, man, that it just changes the game for anybody that really wants it,
That's awesome. All right, so for people listening, first off, there's people online that's never even heard about wholesaling before.
Okay.
So they don't even understand.
Me a year ago.
Yeah, so a year ago. So no, not even knowing what that is, then all of a sudden they get going, they get quick up. Now you built it where you've had 2 months where you've generated over $100,000
right.
in a month.
Right.
So what? First off, that's an insane accomplishment.
It is.
That is huge. People don't even make. Most people don't even make $100,000 a year, yet make it in a month.
Right.
That is crazy. So how do you feel about that, man?
Man, it's a blessing, of course. Just knowing where I was a few years back, and let me say this: I wasn't like busted and disgusted or anything like that. But $100,000 a month, I wasn't at that either. But mentally, I wasn't there, and I think you spoke on this at Extreme Freedom. I had to change my mindset, man, and so I listened to a couple things, and I go into detail, about how I listened to you to just follow your guide, and I changed my mindset, and I wrote out a vision, made it clear, made it plain, and literally, not everything started happening, but as I moved forward towards it, everything seemed to start to fall into place, man, and it just literally changed our life, seriously.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations. All right, so let's go back. First off, so before you got involved in real estate, what was your background?
Well, here's the deal, man. I got started in one of those, most people call them one of those, back when I was 21 years old, one of those pyramid things, right?
Okay.
But I had dropped out of college, man, and I didn't have anything else going, and I made a little bit of money in it. I made enough money to where in about 3 or 4 years, I was able to say, okay, what do I want to do next? I don't want to be the MC Hammer story and blow this money, right? And so I read a couple books, man, the Robert Kiyosaki guy and Oprah Winfrey talk. I think Oprah Winfrey said something like she made her money in broadcasting, but she holds on to it in real estate. That kind of, anything Oprah says, it's kind of like, whoa. So it made me, hungry to know more. And at the time I was 25 years old. All my friends were still working. I was, an entrepreneur. I don't want to work, and I went to a movie one day. And I'm getting to a point, but I went to a movie one day and I saw a friend who I went to high school with. He was selling real estate. He was a real estate agent. And I told him I wanted to invest in real estate. And he said, okay, cool, let's rock and roll. Let's go look at some houses. We looked at a house. We bought it, went on it. And I said, I want to flip it. And he said, well, Harris, it was 2005. He said, you can't flip houses in this market. The market is going down. And I'm one of those, you can't tell me you can't, right? And so he said, I want to rent it. I want some cash flow. And I'm like, man, no, not right now. Let's flip. So I had a BMW. Right? I'm young, 25. He said, I'll give you the full title to the house for the keys to your BMW. And I'm like, dang, I got the ride. And I sold it to him, and I flipped that house like 2 months later for like $30,000 profit. So I was hooked on the regular way of flipping. I went on and it made some good revenue from doing that. But the market crashed and all this other stuff. And I didn't know about wholesaling. So I'm like, man, I need to buy some more inventory. So I'm thinking of ways to, get money up, to buy more inventory. And one thing leads to another. Made a lot of money, lost it. And that's when I told you I came about. My mindset wasn't right. And I ran into some friends, Justin and Jonathan. They were students of yours, or they still are. Okay. And they was like, I was telling them, I said, man, I have an inventory issue. I got, I can find buyers. I'm pretty good at doing that, but I don't have the properties. And so they said, man, well, you don't have to. I have a mentor. He's killing it out west, and he doesn't. He gets a piece of paper, gets it under contract. finds a buyer, gets the money in between. I'm like, dude, whatever. Like, that's not true. That's not, that don't happen like that.
Yeah.
And dude, so I said, so you telling me I can get a piece of paper signed with the person who owns the property, market that contract, and a person who wants to buy it, I get the in-between spread. So they said, yeah. So we, decided I said, let's do it together. So we started a little business, and under your, leadership. Now, keep in mind, they hadn't given me access to you yet. This is just information that they're sharing with me, and so I don't know who you are, or I don't have. So we did our first deal. I had my buyers. They, we got some houses on the contract, and we made like 11 grand on our first deal in like 3-4 weeks. And so I'm telling my wife, I'm like, babe, like, this is it. Like, game over. And so I came across, believe it or not, I listened to a guy named Eric Thomas, Motivation. I was trying to get my mind back right.
Yeah.
And you came across my email interviewing Eric Thomas. And so you were talking about, you probably don't remember the interview with him, but you had a nice interview with him, and I watched the whole thing. And I put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, damn, I wonder, is this the guy that they're talking about? And so I went and I found you online, and you had this free PDF. Your story, it wasn't identical to mine, but it was like, dude, he went through the same thing. He kind of had a setback and, all this stuff. And I was like, so you described enough information in your PDF to where I took it, and I was like, you know what, babe? It's so much juice here. I need more. I bought the course. And so when I bought the course, Sean, it was just like, oh my God, you had the contracts, you had everything, how to talk to the sellers, how to talk to the buyers, where to put signs. And me, I'm one of those guys. I used to play football. So I'm like, down said hut, hike. It has to be easy, right? So the easier it is for me, the better it is. So I'm like, just tell me what to do, I'll do it. And I did it, man. And I put a deal together from marketing online, and I made like $3,000 or $4,000 on my own, and then I made like $5,000, and it just started happening every month. And so I said, babe, I'm a big thinker. I said, babe, I think we can go to 100 grand a month. And so she's like, you think so? And I'm like, yeah, babe, we can do this. And like one of the things is just having your mindset right. You kind of draw things to you. You sent across another email. Your emails are amazing. I thank God for them. About 100K a month wholesaler. How to take your business to the next level. And I'm like, baby, he has another course. She was like, buy it. Like, no questions asked. No matter the price. And so I bought the course, and literally every single thing that I needed to know to go to the next level of making $100,000 a month from building a team, not just being me, because that's what had happened. I was doing the contracts, doing the marketing, doing the talking to the buyers, etc. And it talked about how to build a team, how to get a VA. So that's what position do you hire first? The lead sourcing manager. How to do Google AdWords. Now, I didn't know how to do Google AdWords. You explained everything, but once again, somebody dropped the person in my lap, and they handle my Google AdWords. So, but I gave them your format. And so from this day, we've extended into, you talked about, and I can talk about you all day long, man. You talked about having multiple lines like deep sea fishing. And the more lines that you have while you deep sea fishing, you're going to catch something. And so we've been able to, with the money, the revenue, the profits, or whatever you want to call it, is add more marketing lines to attract more buyers. And, we don't know which one is going to catch the bait today or tomorrow, but they're all out there hanging out. And from that, Sean, man, we've been able to successfully, the first $100,000 we did was from a deal that we got off of Google AdWords. We got a house for the low 20s or 20,000 or something like that, and it was valued at $150,000. Sounds unreal, I know. I would give out the address, but the lady, she hadn't spoken to other people. She was about to lose her house in foreclosure, literally like in 3 weeks, and we got the deal, man. And I sold it, and I made.
What market? This is.
I'm in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, Memphis.
Yeah, man. I got so much stuff I can say, man. And so here's the other thing. You're 100K a month wholesaler. Now, let me say this. The other program was fine, but I got three small boys. They eat a lot. They like me, right? And me and my wife, we love to travel. We love to do nice things. And so going to that next level, even the training at Extreme Freedom, the people that you had there, man, I can go on and on. Coming to Extreme Freedom was a last minute decision. I didn't know about it because I was, busy. And Haim, he's a student of yours. Haim, he told me about it. He said, you should come. I said, no question about it. I'm coming. We booked the flight out there, and the training from Extreme Freedom, I actually used a lot of that to come back and train my staff on. You brought us on stage, and it was about the red, the green, the yellow, the blue. Well, I can say from that information, we've upped our sales from being able to know the type of seller that we're dealing with. We've upped our contracts that we've gotten from sellers just by being able to build a better rapport with the seller that other wholesalers, I don't believe in competition, but that other wholesalers are not doing. I can talk. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to. Okay.
No, you're killing it. You're killing it. Okay, so less for these people. So this $100,000, it came from one deal. It came from multiple different deals.
Well, the second month, and here's the thing: we did 100,000 a couple months, and we did, pretty nice numbers, on and on after it. But the first one, it was two deals that, one we made $115,000 off of, and let's say $80,000 of that was profit. We did another deal that I believe that month, the first month, we did probably profit or total like $140,000. And so, but it was a section of multiple deals. And here's the other thing that I wanted to say about the 100K a month wholesaler, the follow-up. So it's not like I went out and got new deals that month. It was the follow-up systems that were created from the MailChimp that you suggest, the email campaigns, the Podio setup that followed up with these sellers. And when, I don't know if they got in a crunch, they changed their mind, etc. But understanding, you taught this, that, 1 or 2% of sales are made on the first contact. And so understanding that a no is not a right, it means not right now. And so we just kept following up with them automated. And from that, we took our business to where we filled I was like, look, guys, a concentration of just filling your pipeline. Fill it up. And we filled it up so much to where things just start to squeeze through. So it seems like we're having these explosive months, but this is from 6 or 7 months of activity ago. You get what I'm saying?
Building, right?
Exactly.
No, it's building. It's
Exactly.
One stacks on itself.
Right.
And you have that all those leads coming in the top of the funnel.
Right.
And they're going through the sequences and these follow-ups and stuff, and then it just explodes.
That's exactly right.
And it just kills it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I talked to some people, some people from Flip to Freedom. They ask the questions, they say, I'm getting so many no's from sellers. I would just say, we did the same thing, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating that nobody wants to accept your offer. My thing is just to send them the offer anyway and just follow up with them. And I promise you the time will come that, they'll fall through your pipeline. Just stuff it till it pukes on you, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, in realizing when you go from a brand new person, right, and they're getting started, they're crossing their fingers and they hope it works, right? And they're just putting some stuff out there and they hope they get lucky and they talk to somebody. When you get to a certain position in this business, you realize it's a numbers game, and everything comes down to numbers, from the amount of leads that you get, the response rate on the marketing, the how many postcards or letters, how many leads you got to get in, what your conversion ratio is, how to increase your conversion ratio. When you have all those numbers down, like yesterday we spent our entire day with my staff going through our annual meeting for 2016, and we went through every single number, and we figured out, okay, what can we do collectively as a team to bump this number by X amount? And the amazing things that came out of that meeting of what we could do to kind of tweak little things was just amazing. So, we're on track, this year to have one of our biggest year ever. And it's just by analyzing what we did, now looking at what we're going to be doing in the future. So, from your standpoint, looking at the numbers, kind of putting that together, you're getting the idea now. You have your business is being built, so now you can have it. And now you can see those numbers actually turning into revenue, where it becomes a consistent business model.
Exactly.
So we your team right now that you have, you went from a one-man show that you're running, you're doing the marketing, you're talking to people,
Right.
talking to buyers, talking to sellers, doing everything, to now you started building your team. What's your team look like?
All right, so I call them the MJ of each position, and I like the coaching. I love basketball. I love a football player, but I love basketball. And so the first person that we hired, I'm going to give each one of them props, is our lead sourcing manager. He's a VA. And very good at back end, sending the contracts, through Podio, making sure no leagues get left behind, sending the contracts to the title company, etc. So his position is to source leads, create spreadsheets if we need them, little extra tedious things that, I don't have time to do anymore. Yay! And so he does all of those things. His name is Jet. The next person is Josh. And that's who keeps calling me. But Josh is our seller acquisition. We call him the MJ of seller acquisition. And he's the one that, is good at building the rapport with the sellers, grabbing all of the Google leads, the Bing leads that come through the filter, people that call in, from different ads, etc. He's the seller acquisition guy. And he's the one who gets them to agree to the number, the contract, etc. And we go from there.
So he goes out and meets with them, goes to their house, gets
the video, gets the pictures of the property. He does that part too. Gets the video and the pictures of the property and gets on the same side as the seller. If they like, Buddha, he likes Buddha, stuff like that. So, right. So, and then the next person is Kyle. He's a VA. So I have two VAs, but Kyle is a VA. And he does all of the marketing. So every morning, and even during the weekday, from social media and through MailChimp, we use a service, the Hootsuite, to where he does the marketing. We send out a blast every morning, and even sometimes it's redundant properties. But believe it or not, there's always somebody new in your pipeline, if you're stuffing it, that didn't see that property 3 weeks ago, and they're interested. So he just consistently posts on Craigslist, social media, Connect Investor, everywhere you can think of. He's that person that I would do those things. It would be so time consuming, but the consistency of doing it is the key, and he does that every day. I can't explain the value, Sean, that of you telling us to get a team. The last person is the disposition manager. So every day, because Kyle posts so many places for sellers and buyers, new leads come in on our forum. So I would say I love building a rapport with buyers, etc. But I didn't have the time to pick up the phone every time a lead come through. Hey, how you doing? Talk for 30 minutes. They don't want to talk about nothing. They just want to. And so she does that. And so she gets a percentage of, the breakdowns of the commissions, etc. because she builds the rapports with the buyers, which ends up turning into a sale later on, etc. And so she's a disposition manager. And those are my 4 positions on my team.
So you got 4 people on there. Now the 2 VAs, how'd you find those?
There is a company called I want to say no, it was IVAS, IVAS. Yeah, and they are absolutely phenomenal. They come let me explain this about VAs. They come trained about real estate, but you still have to do your part by, like I did a lot of tutorials. I have a whole page of tutorials for each position that I personally did with my enthusiasm, letting them know who I am, etc., and what I expect from that position. If you have any questions after watching this, let me know. And what we do, Sean, but we got them from Ivis, but they still need to be spoken to and communicated with on a daily basis. And so throughout the day, just like a regular person. So what I did, because I've heard people say that they don't have the best experiences with VAs, but you have to recognize what your specific VA is good at or what you're going to assign them to. And so what I did to combat that is I'm a Facebook guy. I love Facebook Messenger, etc. So I created my team inside of a group in Facebook. And so throughout the day, everybody is on one accord, one heartbeat, and we communicate with each other throughout the day through this Facebook Messenger. Anything that's private that needs to be talked about, we can email it or whatever. But now everybody knows what's going on. You have a question you can ask, and that way you can make sure you're getting full 100% effective work out of your VAs, because of course they're thousands of miles away from you. You can't, hey, what you doing now? You don't have time to do that.
Right.
And so that really works.
Check out Slack.com.
Slack. Write this down.
Slack. We got our whole entire team off of email, and we put everything through Slack. So it's a communication tool, and it's like an online chat, but it categorizes everything. You have different channels. There's between private instant message, and has an iPhone app that's great. Has an online desktop. It's good for for Android or whatever. So, but it's really cool. You pull the whole entire. Like last night, we went out to like a team building dinner, and we went to this place called the Escape Room, where y'all go in this room, and then you have an hour to break all these clues to get these keys to escape the room. Right? It's pretty cool. So we're all on there and going through some stuff, but it's fun. After everyone's so grateful, they're all talking about how awesome it is. It's really cool. It kind of brings everyone together.
Right.
Channels for each company and stuff like that. So it's check out Slack.
Slack. I'm on it.
Slack. Okay. So let's talk. So now people are listening. They're going, okay, $100,000 a month. That seems unreachable for them. How the heck they can do it? So let's talk about the marketing channels that for you that creates that $100,000 a month. So let's talk about the marketing first. What channels are you nailing? I heard you say Google AdWords.
Yeah, so before I started Google AdWords, let's say this. So I guess to get to $100,000 a month, my Google AdWords budget wasn't the way I wanted it to be, right? So what I did at first, I every night, and the things that I'm going to tell you probably going to sound insane or crazy, right? But you got to be a little off, right? Every night I would in my market, I would email on the email form on Zillow.com. I would go on Zillow.com and I would email every owner in the areas that I had buyers for a lowball offer. So if they're asking $30,000, I would email them, hey, I want to offer you $10,000 cash. I can close this week. The one in my mind, this is how I analyze it. The ones that responded and said, no, I can't take $10,000, but can you come a little bit closer? That's motivation to me. So I would entertain them. Some people are like, you're crazy, you're nuts, etc. When they respond, but the ones that responded, and so from that I would get good solid deals. Hey, if I get one for something that didn't cost any money, I can use that money to upgrade my marketing, and so that was one thing that worked for me to start off. And then
guys, guys listening, that's a golden tip. So there's people right now that don't have any marketing money, they're broke, they're just getting by, they're figuring out what can I do. That is a golden tip that I haven't heard from anybody doing it, so kudos to you, man.
Right, thanks, man. And so from that, I was able to take that money, and like I would say, I easily brought in about 15 or 20 grand or so. And from that, I took money to, okay, I need to do Google AdWords now, because that's what he said in 6 Figure Wholesaler, right? And so I did the Google AdWords campaign. Now, here's the thing. I didn't get instant results from Google. I mean, I got clicks, I got leads, I spent out money, but my thing is, it was another line that I had out there. So in the meantime, I post on Facebook like crazy. I make like 4 to 6 posts an hour on Facebook. And so from that, from your training, we created what we call, it's not an actual paid affiliate, but we call it HF10K affiliates. These are people that are bird dogs. Other people call them bird dogs. And they would go out and find us people who want to sell their houses. They'll drive around on the way to work to get vacancies, and they would submit them on this form. We have a form on our site that they submit properties on. From that, I actually got a deal that I made, I want to say like $30,000 off of from an HF10, from a bird dog in a nutshell. So we built this big organization of people. We have a little group on Facebook private for the affiliates, but a bird dog, but where they put their deals in here, and it goes into Podio. So that was free advertising. What do I mean? That I only have to pay them when I, of course, close on the property.
Deal,
right. So that was another. So I'm trying to think of the free ways that I did to start off. From that, then I said, okay, I'm going to do Bing. And so I did Bing. So I know I probably get chastised for this, but I don't do mailers. And I don't, man. I haven't done a mailer. I don't do them. It wasn't. Here's my take on it. And this, I know I should. But my take on it was when we attempted the mailers, and I guess it's the thing, we had tried it and we didn't do it. But when we attempted the mailers, it was like when they would call in, they would say, well, what do you want to offer me? Whereas with the Google lead, my seller acquisition guy, he loves Google leads. He's in a power position. You contacted us, so what do this is what I'll give you, and they're more receptive to accept the offer, seemingly, than the mailers that call in. And so we don't do mailers, man.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
You could be blowing up to $200,000-$300,000.
I promise you, like our goal, if you talk to our team goal, like we do our Monday morning meetings, thanks to you for the training, but we do our Monday morning meetings, and every one of them on the same accord. We have our vision, everything laid out. Everybody knows, but it's $1 million a month, man. Is the team goal? Everybody gets bonuses and stuff like that. So. Yeah, so $100,000 a month is good to everybody else looking on the outside, but to us, it's like we're 10% of where we want to be, right?
Yeah, 10%. 100%.
Right.
I am right there with you.
Right.
Exactly what our meeting was like. What are we gonna do $1 million a month?
Right.
And people are listening right now, going, "These guys are."
I know, dude. You have to be. You have to be.
Yeah. Why not? Hey, well, if you screw up and you do $500,000 a month,
exactly. Exactly.
So that is killer. So those are your different channels that you're currently using.
I'm currently using.
No mail. Any bandit signs?
Now for buyers, we don't do bandit signs for sellers. We do bandit signs for buyers. I posted one in the group, Flip the Freedom group, yesterday of the actual sign that I use, and I got it from Dirt Cheap Signs, the same people you recommend. And it has the asking price. And it has what I think the property is worth. Now, here's the thing that I didn't say this in the post, but sometimes, I don't know if I'll be looked at funny, but shoot, sometimes I don't have that property available anymore, right? So it may be worth $100,000 and I'm selling it for $40,000, but when they call, I get their name, number, and email and add them to my database so that I can follow up with them. So when I do get a property that they're looking for, and so we put them where you suggested, Sean, I'm telling you, you should probably charge $1 million for your course because you're giving away the $1 million information. We put the signs. I have a video that I did for my team on where to put the signs on a map right off the interstate for buyers. And so we get seemingly what they're called impressions for people on the weekends that drive by and see our signs. And we pull out the local buyers out of the market. There's a lot of people in this city, in your city too, and everywhere that have money under their mattresses. They just got money from a lottery win or whatever, and they're looking to invest.
$20,000 house.
Right.
$600 a month, man. That's
right.
Cash flow.
So your buyers list is small. That's a great way to build up your buyers list. And once you find the buyers, all you got to do is go shop. Your demand becomes, insane.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, the bandit. So when we added this line this week, I just paid for a radio advertisement for buyers, not for sellers, but for buyers because of tax season. And so a lot of those people that don't have cash on hand that can buy these low price deals in Memphis, we're able to market to them on talk show radio. I think that's the key. Like, so people's ears are already glued and listening for information. They're not listening to music. They're listening to talk show. And so as our advertising comes on, that was a good one that we just recently added that works pretty good too.
That's killer. So now you got talk show radio going, attracting some buyers.
Right.
So have you guys done your annual meeting yet?
Yeah, we did one. What was it? Actually, one of my seller acquisition guy, he was out doing videos and pictures of properties on January 1st. And I'm like, dude, you a beast. His wife was going to kill me. But we did one right after that week and went over the company goals. We had a amazing, I like to use the words killer. We had a killer December. Like, we finished really strong, man, and I just wanted to reiterate to them to keep the momentum going. The things. Here's one thing that you talk about going over in the meetings, but we went over in the annual meeting. Some of the issues that we had was with our sellers, they weren't, if they had tenants in the property, we had issues with getting back inside the property because they didn't want to give us a key, access, etc. Right. So we created, and I learned this in Extreme Freedom. I should have implemented it sooner, but we created a packet. I think Brandon talked about this, or Jerry Beth. We created a packet to where it goes over the information about the team, our process, etc. So now Josh is going over that with sellers now, and so we have predetermined times for us to view the properties if they don't give us key access or if it's a tenant there, and also our process, which really educates the seller. And I'll tell you another thing that you said, it takes us where other wholesalers are here. It takes us here in the mind of the seller, because other people aren't doing it. They're just making an offer and moving on. But hey, look, we take the time to, educate you about our process. Oh, the one other thing I didn't mention, I could talk all day, Sean, is our closing attorney. Now, granted, they probably were doing, they were doing wholesale deals prior to us, but the volume that we've been able to bring, they've actually assigned, where I don't have to have them on my payroll, but they've assigned a specific closing agent to my team and my files, so that when our files come in, they move through the system a lot faster. And I want to say that that's a part of our positions as well. It's just not on our payroll, right?
Right. Okay, so let me ask you, we got a bunch of people listening right now. They're going, they're holy cow. So what is one takeaway, one thing that is the most impactful thing that made the biggest shift in your business to allow you to break from where you are to $100,000 a month now and growing, now with the future of looking at $1 million worth? What is one thing, one nugget, one gold chunk that you could give them? That you'd say could be a game changer for them? Besides the
obvious of, and I don't want to sound like the teacher's pet, right? But besides the obvious of getting your course and learning, I got a couple. I know it's one thing, but I got a couple. I know that the importance of having a mentor, that's what I look at you as a mentor, someone that's been where you want to go. All you have to do is backtrack where they've been and follow it. So besides that obvious one is, I'm big on magnetizing your brain. Every morning that I wake up, when I'm not at the destination or the goal where I want to be, I create on my phone, a MP3, and I speak from the place where I want to be. I speak from the place where I want to be. And as if I'm already living those desires or experiencing those desires, not I'm going to get, but I love the fact that I have such as, and I listen, and it sounds crazy, but I put these little things in my ear. Okay.
It's not crazy.
And I play it over and over and over until I live it. And so to other people, it seems like, wow, how did you do it? To me, I've been doing that for a while now. And so to me, it's like, okay, it was already done. I'm just pretty much waiting on everybody else to see the effect. So I play it over and over like a crazy man. I don't listen to the radios when I get in the car. I don't watch the TV. I put those things in my ear. And now on weekends, I may give myself a break and listen to some Lil Wayne or something, right?
You're hearing yourself.
Right. But
okay, so let me ask you a question. Why do you think that works?
All right, so I think I believe in God. I believe I'm a Christian, and so, I guess not scientific to be scientific, but it's all scripture. Not to go religious on your show, Sean, but it's all scripture.
I'm a Christian. I'm religious. You know me.
Right.
Freedom, you get
it. But, Scripture literally speaks about, as a man thinketh, so is he. Whatsoever you desire when you pray, believe you have received and you'll have. So the only way to develop faith, the only known method to develop the faith in something, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. So the only known way or method to develop faith is to literally repeat to the brain, the subconscious mind, something over and over and over again until you have, without a shadow of a doubt, the belief for it. So faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing, and of course hearing by the word of God. But so why does that work? One, because it's biblical principle, and I think E.T. talks about this. There's a lot of things, but when you pretty much run off of the principles, that applies to a unjust person as well as a just person. And Scripture says he reigns on the just as well as the unjust. When you apply the principle of how to induce faith, your brain, I don't know what it is, but I will say this. It's kind of like this phone. I learned this the other day. You can see I kind of probably got ADHD, right? But I learned this the other day.
Right there with you.
This lady I know, she owned a cell phone company back in the 90s. And she told me this the other day. She said, Bryan, when every cell phone, this may be a game changer, every cell phone has what they call a freak number. And freak is short for frequency. So every cell phone is a frequency in the ether. So when you call into that number, it's dialing into a frequency. So I'm saying that to say you can do that same thing with your brain. You can dial into a frequency mentally. If this cell phone can do it, your brain can do it. And so why does it work? Right. So why does it work? Why does that principle work, Sean? My thing is, I don't know, but if I believe enough to talk on this or to talk how we're talking now on Skype, I can definitely believe that my brain can do the same thing.
You know, it's interesting you say it's a biblical principle, you know, which it absolutely is, which is paramount, but also, too, if you read Think and Grow Rich, too, which references biblical principles, in there it talks about how to induce faith, and part of inducing faith is through autosuggestion.
Yep.
Autosuggestion is by repeating over and over and over. And it's interesting because, you know, I talk about a January letter, so I write a January letter in the month of January 2016, but you put your place as if you're in 2017.
Right.
You're documenting what happened in 2016. Now, what I do is with my phone is I go through and I record myself in the as if it's already happened, excited, enthusiastic. And when I go to bed, I plug my earphones in my ear.
Me too.
I sleep with myself talking to me of exactly what 2016 is going to look like.
Right.
You know what happens? Is that, you know, when I first write it down, I go, man, how the heck is that going to happen?
Yeah.
How am I going to tithe that much money? How am I going to give that? How am I going to do that? How am I going to house this? And you don't have all the how-to specifics, but you put it out there. All of a sudden, the right people line up, the right circumstances, the leads come in, the things come in, the ideas come about, the opportunities come out. And it's amazing to see what happens, you know, and for someone that, you know, is not someone that doesn't study, you know, success or the mind or stuff like that, is foreign to them.
Right.
You know, but the bottom line is that if you look at successful people, what they accomplish, what they do, you know, these are all commonalities that they have. These traits, these common traits.
Right.
They're congruent to their behavior of achieving success, which is killer. So I'm right there. I think you nailed that on the head. On the head. for like the big, you know, aha thing that they can take away, because, you know, everything else we're talking about, you know, going on Zillow or setting up an AdWords campaign or hiring the right people and stuff, those are all technical sides. That's the technical side of the coin. The other side of the coin is you and what you bring to the table.
Right.
I think that's incredibly important. So, okay, real quick, what's your favorite book that you're reading right now?
I'm reading Neville Goddard, Seed Time Harvest.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Seed Time Harvest. I have it on Audible, and I play it. And he's an author that he has several different books that I've been reading, and that's the one that I'm on right now. And I love that guy. He's actually one of the guys that talks about how to magnetize the mind, etc. And you know, I guess when I'm in, I call it, my wife knows, I call it manifestation mode. I listen to all of the things that support my belief system in how the mind works, in addition to playing myself over and over and over again. Yeah.
Okay. Now, your first hour in the morning, what does that look like?
First hour in the morning, I'm laying in the bed. Here's the thing. I don't get my day started until 11 o'clock. I'm a night owl, so I stay up late. So when I wake up in the morning, I lay in bed for probably like the first 10 minutes. And, of course, I play my thing, and then I visualize how I want my day to go out. And once I do that, I check so that I don't get any crazy messages or emails. I do that because, you know, I guess I don't like going into the day not controlling it. per se, if that makes sense. And so I check my messages, and I greet the team in the messenger. It's a voice thing that you can press in the messenger, and I give them the daily, "What's up, guys? It's your boy B," and I'm crazy like that. So they look for those messages, and it's like a 3-minute. You can only do a minute at a time, but I do like a 3-minute, kind of like a task to do list. Hey, Josh, did you get such and such and such and such? Make sure you do this, etc. And I give them the heartbeat of the day, and let them know, hey, today is the day that we need to focus on this, so that we can be one step closer to such and such and such and such. So it's just kind of like.
App did you use? Is that like an app?
The Messenger app on Facebook.
Oh, Messenger app on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and so once I do that, I check my emails or any messages from my specific buyers that buy from me all the time, and I start the day, man. Sometimes I can sit in the house and work from the computer, or sometimes I can go out and leave. And a lot of times, because you've helped me create a team, sometimes I can just kind of go off and play a little bit until, something is needed for me, and I can just kind of check on my business from my phone. But I work really hard, and then I go to the title company. The title company, me and my wife, we're friends with all of the ladies there. They're all ladies up there. So I go up there and play with them and mess with them all the time, but mainly to make sure that my checks are coming through. Yeah. So
that's cool to be able to have, control your life to where you have complete free time to do what you want, with who you want, when you want, how you want, and be able to have a team that's generating, ridiculous amounts of money.
Right.
Which is cool. Okay, so tell me about your family.
Amazing. I have a beautiful wife, Maria Harris. She's amazing. Yeah. She's been through it all with me, which is absolutely amazing. From the worst to the best, to the worst to the best, and so and she's a go-getter as well, and she stays at home with the boys. My boys are actually in private school. I have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old. He stays at home.
Wow.
And and so the my 7-year-old, man, he loves basketball. He's a big guy like me, thick. He loves basketball, but he has a football body, so I'm trying to push him over towards football. Yeah. But he's a genius, though. I think he has like photographic memory or something. So he like aces school. He just signed up for chess. I wanted to play football, right? But he signed up for chess the other day, and he like pretty much has it down. My 6-year-old, he's very creative. He's more artistic, smaller guy, and just if he's not being Alexander's, something's wrong with him. He's one of those guys like all over the place. And the beautiful thing is you can kind of see each of their personality from me and my wife, and all of them. It's just like we came together and made these little people. And my 2-year-old, he's a mixture of all of us, and he's a boss. He's like bossy. I mean, yeah, he punks around everybody, tell us what to do. And that's my world. My life is my boys and my wife, man. I live for them, and I have 2 of the most amazing parents still together after all this time. My dad's in his 70s. My mom is in her about to be 60, so he was kind of cougar town there. Yeah. But amazing parents. Yeah, and still the right things in me, Christianity, God, believe, love, and I have 2 amazing sisters as well. That both of them are married with kids, etc. And but I mean, that's my family, man. That's me. I'm a big family guy. Like I love for everybody to come over for the holidays, spend the night. Let's go out of town or whatever. That's me. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. We made our house into the hub where all my daughter's friends come over. Yep. And they're all hanging out. They're all watching movies. They're all sleeping over.
Right.
It's like a hub.
Right.
Like a party house everyone wants to be in.
Right.
Awesome. All right. So now there's people listening, and they are, they're still kind of on the fence. Should I do this? Should I not do it? What would you leave? What would be the last words, as we're finishing up here? What would you last words you want to leave them that could inspire them to take the action, take the next step?
Okay, so if you're me, year and a half ago or so, and you're going through the internet, you're looking for something, you're looking for the next thing, and if you've come across Sean Terry, how do you, and I get a lot of inboxes too, by the way, Sean, of people, hey, should I buy Sean Terry's course? And I'm like, dude, what are you thinking for? But The thing is, if you come across that, the information that is given in the many podcasts and the PDFs is an overwhelming amount of information that can, you can take and just kind of apply it or look at it and say, wow, if the information is here in this, it has to be more or something that could take me to the next level by, purchasing the course. So that's how I looked at it. My thing is I wasn't, where I really wanted to be. Not to say that, like I said, I wasn't busted and disgusted or anything, but it's like I wanted to be, I knew it was something further that I could go towards, but I needed a person's guidance. Now, here's the thing, and I will say this too. That doesn't mean that I'm picking up the phone, calling Sean. The information in the tutorials, dude, it's just like be a sponge and just right there. He's teaching everything. He's like literally opening up his brain, pouring it into these videos and giving it to you. The thing is just apply the information once you get it. Get the course. That's a no-brainer. But once you get it, apply the information. Here's the other thing that I answer. They have support groups, etc. And the Flip to Freedom and your friend, the wholesaling group, group on Facebook. A lot of these are same motivated people that are having success as well. You can ask a question in there and get an answer literally like a heartbeat in a second. And so if you have a question about something, there's going to be somebody in one of these groups, if not the Flip to Freedom team, that responds and answers your questions, right away, which I think is ingenious if you ask me, because everybody's meeting together in these groups coming towards the same goal. So I would say get started, buy it immediately, and if he listens to me, he'll charge more. So buy it before, I won't say before it goes up, but dude, it's worth every penny. Let's just say if you spend $1,500, $2,000, I can't even remember what it is, but whatever it is, if you spend it, one deal, you'll do that. If you're averaging, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 a deal. And here's the other thing I learned too, Sean, I want to say this. You talk about training your buyers to what your margin is. You can accept smaller, and guess what? They'll pay smaller. But when you establish, what it is that you want to make on each deal up front, and that's your spread, when they see your spread, it is what it is, and it's still a deal, you're training your buyer. So don't accept the lowest amount just because, it's low. Go for the gusto, but make it a deal, make it a win-win for everybody, but go for the gusto. There's nothing wrong with a $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 spread, if it's a deal.
That is smart. Cool. All right. So anybody listening now that wants to buy properties from Bryan in Memphis, Tennessee, looking for some deals, looking for some wholesale deals out there, where can someone get a hold of you that they're going to get a hold of you or look for properties out there?
Yeah, I'll give you the site. Our site is www.homes410k.com. Like a little genius moment there. Homes for $10,000, right? HOMESFOR, the number 1, the number 0, the letter K.com. Homes410k.com. You can go there and click on Buy Homes, and you'll see where you can fill out a form and get on our VIP list, and you'll get a phone call from us, or you can email us at info@homes410k.com and check out our deals, man. We got a lot of them. We get probably about new 3 or 4 deals a week, so.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Think about it. You can buy a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 house.
Right.
Right. Instead of putting it in stock markets, which is getting
course.
crushed right now, put it $30,000 in that. Put a 10 in there, something for $600-700 a month. You get cash flow going.
Right.
It's a great property. Get some tax benefits.
Exactly.
It's perfect. Yeah. So definitely go to his site, homes410k.com. We'll link that up in the show notes for everybody. And awesome, dude. It's been an absolute pleasure. It was great meeting you out.
You too, Sean.
Out there for that. That was a blast. We had so much fun out there.
Yes.
It was a good time. And thank you so much for your time. You are an exemplary of actually execution, following it, and going out and getting results. And I can't wait to see where you're going to be in the future. It's going to be killer. So rock the house. You're going to kill it, man. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean, so much.